I'm Mackie, and this is my wife, Sid. We're professional mountain bikers on a quest to race the best and most challenging mountain bike races around the world. Which brings me to our next challenge, the Marji Gesick 100. The Marji Gesick is a unique race unlike anything we've ever done, which means there's some unique prep needed. For one, it's longer than any other race we've raced, and it's going to be one of our longest days on a bike ever. Plus, there are a few additional tricky elements, like the fact that we will have limited spots to get support, and of course, the tokens. One of the biggest pieces of advice we've gotten about Marji is don't eat your tokens. Confused? Yeah, well, us too. Join us as we make final decisions on gear and bike setup, tackle the 26-hour drive from New Mexico to the Upper Peninsula of Michigan, and get our first taste of this legendary race course.
One of my guiding principles for this race is going to be, are you going downhill for more than 10 seconds? Better be looking for the uphill turn, because it's coming. For this race, we will be racing our RE Signal Peak SLs. These are the cross-country bikes that we have been racing all year. We have them super dialed in and have been really happy with our setups. That said, I at least am going to make a few Marji-specific changes. For one, I'm going from my usual 32-tooth chainring to a 30-tooth chainring, just because there is so much punchy climbing, and I know for me it'll be faster to ride as much as possible. I'm also putting on a wider platform pedal. I'll be running the Expedo Baldwins instead of the usual M-Force 8s. I'm doing this because when I did my test event at the 12 Hours in the Enchanted Forest, I really struggled with sore feet. So while the Baldwins are more of a trail pedal and are gonna add a little bit of weight to the bike, I feel confident that it's gonna be worth it for avoiding sore, tired feet. For the most part, we are going to stick with what we're used to, and as usual, the biggest question is tire choice.
So technically, we have ridden in Marquette before. I think it was 2018, and it was way late in the season, and there were trees down, and the storm had just rolled through, so I don't feel like we really got to experience Marquette. I also don't really remember it, because that was 5 years ago. We aren't 100% sure on our tire choice. Most likely, we're going to go with Aspens. That's what we raced for Breck. That's what I raced for Downeyville. Like, we love the Aspens. They're a great tire. I'm also going to bring some Aspen STs in case it seems like the faster rolling is worth it and that there's nothing too slippery that I need extra traction on. If it looks like it's going to rain the night before, we are also bringing Severes, which is Maxxis's mud tire. So a little ridiculous to be bringing lots of spare tires, but I would much rather have them and not need them than the other way around. Just got a notification that we got a package. So one of the components of Marji Gesick is that there are tokens that you have to pick up. And if you don't have all the tokens, you get disqualified. Okay, tokens. Apparently, an important part of this race is picking up tokens that are placed in plastic pumpkin checkpoints at various places around the course. These are a way to make sure that everybody actually rides the whole course because no one knows where the tokens will be. The tokens at Marji are a hot topic this year because last year they were candy, and some people thought they were a joke, ate theirs, and got disqualified. Sometimes there are fake checkpoints with empty pumpkins and no tokens. One year, all of the tokens were in the last mile of the course, and everyone freaked out that they'd missed earlier ones. So apparently the most important thing to remember, as stated in multiple update emails, is if you get to a checkpoint and it's full of something, take one. It's a token. If it's empty, blame Danny and keep rolling. We were like, we need some way to carry tokens that is going to be very secure. I decided that we would, consider something like these little pouches. I'm thinking this one's probably too big. This one is probably the right size. Big enough to hold a variety of tokens, small enough to not be annoying and in the way. Marquette, Michigan.
Okay, Marquette, let's go.
September comes but once a year, and with it events so dear. North to the Upper Land we go, with our mountain bikes in tow. Heads are filled with dreams of dots, green to finish, red if not. 25 long hours bestowed to climb along the bumpy road. Blame Danny, blame Todd, find your limits, push beyond. It's you versus you, no choice but follow through.
We're in Michigan.
We are, the Upper Peninsula.
In the UP. The UP.
The UP.
We're working on the lingo. So we decided to do the drive in 2 days. It's about 26 hours. We're gonna take today to kind of orient, to figure out what the heck is going on, and then hopefully go do a pre-ride.
Our goal is not to pre-ride the whole course because it's over 100 miles long. We'd like to see the beginning and we'd like to see the last 15 because a lot of people have told us the last 15 are very slow and very difficult.
It's less about seeing them to like remember lines or anything, because we probably won't.
No.
More to just like set the expectations appropriately.
And just get an idea of what the ride, the terrain looks like, what the trails look like.
It feels real flat up here, so I'm not sure where they're finding 12,000 feet of climbing, but it's gonna be death by 1,000 cuts, I think. One of the sort of guiding principles of Marji Gesick is the unknown. I think they specifically make an effort to just drive the spreadsheet people nuts. One of the ways they do that is to sit on the course maps until pretty close before the race. That said, we are going to do a little sleuthing here and see if we can figure out what would make sense to ride.
Yeah. So 65 miles is where our aid bags will be.
Yeah, I mean, the logical way to ride this for a ride would be here. Now we need to look at that in trail forks and make sure none of those are the wrong directional.
So this is the guy who won last year. 2 hours, he was 25 miles in. 4 hours, he was 46 miles in. So those last 3 hours were quite a bit slower.
I'm sure there will be miserable moments of Marji, but I don't think I want to be like on the red line the entire time. On the flip side, I am worried about having a really frustrating start if I don't start fast enough. I could feel as bad as I felt on day 3 of Breck and do this race. I would really prefer not to because I don't want to hate mountain biking.
Yeah. Before we head out on our pre-ride, I want to take a second to say thank you to the sponsor of this video, Fantic, and tell you guys about the X9 Ace mini air compressor bike pump thing. We've talked about this a couple of times. We love this thing. Super easy to choose the pressure you want, just up and down. It's got a built-in Presta adapter. You just unscrew this. If you use Presta like we do, you just use this side instead. USB-C charging port. Just so nice to have, throw in your car. We've used it to set up tires tubeless. Fantic has given us a discount code to share with you guys. That code is MACKY, and it will get you 30% off. We'll include a link in the description, or you can scan this QR code right here and make sure you use the code MACKY for 30% off.
All right, here we go. Trying to figure out how to pre-ride. Well, this is the cute little town of Niguani or Ishpeming. I don't know where we are. Okay, we found Singletrack. This looks amazing. The dark glasses were a mistake, but that's why you pre-ride. Whee! Oh, I love this. It's so fun.
Our first bit of Singletrack.
Did I go the right way? I feel like we're in someone's yard, which stresses me out slightly, but here's a paved path, so maybe not.
U-turn. Yeah, I think it's about time to turn off the turn notifications. I'd say these trails so far have been very cool. And as Sid just said, I can see how they will be potentially extremely frustrating 85 miles into this race when there's all these little punchy things. Every corner is like 180 degrees. In the last section of trail that was kind of technical, there were a couple of A route, B routes. One time we took the easier B route, and one time we took the harder A route. And the only similarity we could figure out between the two is that they were the longer route both times. I get the feeling the name of the game at Marji is, if there are two options, let's take the longer one.
I think my personal rule of thumb for this race is going to be every time I'm on a road, I eat something.
Yeah.
Even if a bunch of people who I just passed sprint past me.
Yeah.
Because it is going to be a race of attrition. If they're not eating on the roads, they're not eating.
Yeah. Hi there. Well, this is going to hurt at about 100 miles. You're going to be at 100 miles and you're going to think, I could go up that really steep, heinous climb, or I could go jump in the lake. There haven't been many sections like this, but the ones that we do have, they sure help tick the miles off. So Sid and I were just discussing the fact that everything we've ridden so far would be fine with an Aspen ST on the back. That's the like really semi-slick Maxxis tire. And the benefit is that it rolls really well. And it's lighter. So, in general, if we can, we like to run the STs if it's not going to make much difference. And I'm sort of thinking for this race, I'm going ST on the rear. Red! Wow, that was cool. Yeah, wow. So we are less than 2 miles from the end, and
the trail just goes like we're probably, as the crow flies, like a quarter of a mile or something from the finish. Woo! Pretty cool. Crybaby. Oh boy. I bet this one's gonna be really hard. Tree assist. Oh, that was a toad. I'm gonna catch him. I love toads. I saw him go boink. Oh man, he got away. Nice.
That was not nearly as hard as it looked. I still plan to probably walk that in the race because I don't think I'm gonna have access to 450 watts. Oh, that's pretty. Wow. We rode the last 20 miles or so.
Just imagine people, music, finish banner.
Yeah, think about how happy we're gonna be when we come through here the next time. That was a lot of fun.
What is all of this math?
Doing all this math to create a plan that I will just not follow once I get into the race.
What, you want to tell us about the plan that you're not going to follow once you get into the race?
I'm gonna try to follow it. 6 bottles of high carb, 2 packs of clear, 5 gels, 2 packs of chews, 2 bars, 4 meat sticks. Like, you don't want to feel hungry even while you're eating all of these calories. And having some protein and fat will help with that. Rice cakes, all of that is 4,100 calories. My total expenditure for this, I calculate somewhere between 6,500 and 7,500.
I'm planning similar to what Sid did. My total calorie burn might be a little bit higher than hers. The goal is not to replenish all of those calories, but to replenish at least 50%. In general, as long as your stomach can handle it, more calories is better.
My fluid loss I calculated to be between 7.2 liters and 8.4 liters.
So Dina's recommendation is 60 to 80% of sweat rate per hour. You need to do at least 3/4 of a small bottle per hour.
6 bottles and 2 full packs is 6.5 liters. So it works on paper. It means nothing if I don't actually eat it.
That is definitely
Plan
true.
means nothing if you don't follow the plan.
What you doing?
Well, in my vision, this was going to be more like here so I could see it.
That's the token pouch?
Yeah, I feel like I'm going to lose stuff out of it.
Oh, what if you put it down here?
So we added these little pouches to our backpacks so we can keep track of our tokens. Because if you have just put them in your pockets, then you pull out your snacks and you dislodge the tokens. But I'm actually pretty pleased with this. It's pretty non-invasive.
So we're trying to decide if this counts as the first single track. Yeah, definitely good passing. Up to this point has all been fine passing. Sid was just saying that she's thinking run, you know, reasonably fast, but not go crazy. And then take the next section, which is basically like snowmobile trails with plenty of passing. Steady, but not fast. Try to pass some people on that descent that we just did, which was double track. And then maybe put in an effort on this part to get by some people on this 300-foot climb over 1.2 miles. I think that's one of the biggest continuous climbs. Okay, we're about to the top of our climb. And Sid says she recognizes this spot from photos and videos. Yeah. Yeah. left turn. We got to see the section we wanted to see, the rock roll. Now we're heading back via a trail called Dock Knobs, which is a double black, and so far really cool with all these cool rocky knob thingies. Yeah, they should have called it Rock Knob instead of Dock Knob.
You'll be fine with that.
Whee! Oh man, this trail would be cool to come out and get to know. So you'd know where the lines were. Woohoo! Nice roll.
All right, we have now gotten a taste of what Marji Gesick is all about.
We did the last 18, something like that, miles of the course.
We pre-rode one of the, I guess two of the like quote unquote double black sections to kind of just have an idea of like, if it's going to be technical, like what kind of technical is it going to
What
be?
does technical look like in this area?
The more difficult technical pieces are going to be the uphill ones, especially towards the end, because there are some very challenging, very steep, rocky uphills. We've heard a lot about this race of like, oh, it takes a really long time, it's super hard. And I think we were kind of very quickly, like 5 minutes into our pre-ride, we were like, oh, this is why it takes so long. And it's because there are just so many turns.
And it's so different than what we're used to, where climb for 20 minutes, an hour, 2 hours, and then descend for an extended period of time. And this was not like that at all. Like continuous up, down, you never really get like recovery, which definitely makes it harder compared to what we're used to.
Yeah.
Also, the course overall goes uphill and overall gets more technical. And so between those two things, that means that the later part of the course takes a lot longer per mile than the earlier part of the course does. I'm getting excited. Nervous, but excited.
Now it's time to recover, prep our aid bags, and get ready for our hardest race to date. Make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss next week's Marji Gesick race video, and in the meantime, don't forget to be more awesome.